Who was once falsely accused of being a German spy. Well, today I want to tell you about a German-born but French composer by the name of Jacques Offenbach. Jacques Offenbach was born in 1819 in Cologne, Prussia, which is Germany now, by the name of Jacob Eberst. His father was a cantor in the synagogue and loved music, and he believed in discipline and education, and also infused a lot of music into the family life. Now, he realized quickly that his children were all actually exceptional musicians, and he decided to change the family name. So it isn't Jacob himself that changed it later on. As a child, it was changed to Offenbach, which worked better. Offenbach was his father's hometown, so that's what they were named after. Now, very early on, our Jacques showed tremendous talent in music, and by the time he was 6, he was composing already. He was also an extraordinary violinist and cellist, very, very gifted. In their family, music was not just something they did, it wasn't just a pastime, it was truly a calling. When he was only 14 years old, Jacques goes to Paris to study at the Paris Conservatory. And he is very musical, very talented, very natural, but does not do well with the academic rigidity. He is definitely a free spirit, a free thinker, and so he cuts his education short, but he doesn't leave Paris. By the 1930s, Paris is exciting, and it's alive with theater, it's alive with satire. It's got so much going on, and he absorbs it all, and he loves it, and he becomes a Parisianer. Now, our Offenbach actually does not become very well known as a composer to begin with. He is known as a virtuoso cellist, and he's playing everywhere. People love him. He's got great showmanship, but also the technique and talent to back it up. And he gets a nickname as the Mozart of the Champs-Élysées because it sounds so light and so quick and so lovely. But there's more depth to him than that. In 1855, he founds his own theater called the Bouffe Parisien, and this changed music history because he created a whole new genre. Offenbach pioneered operetta. Now, we've had operas and we've had plays, but he pioneers operetta. And what is that? It is a short, fast-paced, satirical stage work filled with catchy tunes. It's got comic timing. It's a social critique. Maybe that's the most important part. They're not these grand operas with gods and kings and all this. Oh, no, they're funny, they're lighthearted, and people loved it. These operettas, they are accessible, mischievous, and dangerously clever. They're just a sharp reflection of contemporary life, politics, and hypocrisy. People were excited about it, and it really became this whole pop culture phenomena. He started it, but he wasn't the only one. Other people started doing it too. Now, his real breakout success happened in 1858 when he wrote Orpheus in the Underworld, and the critics were shocked. He was making fun of serious topics like the gods. It was just irreverence. It was mockery because his gods were lazy and fickle. The authority figures looked ridiculous. And then he had this song, and it was called the Can-Can, and these ladies would come out and they would kick their legs, and it was scandalous. The critics were really horrified and called it vulgar, but the audiences, the paying people, they loved it. And so the unthinkable thing happened. This classical music, this opera, which was always like for the elite, it became very popular. So here he is at the height of his career doing great things, but there's a war. The Franco-Prussian War, and he was born in Germany. He was born on the other side, the people, the enemies. And suddenly he's being accused of being a spy. Now, this would make no sense. He'd been there for decades at this point, and he was a naturalized French citizen, and he loved everything French. He was so French. There was nothing about him that was suspicious other than where he was born. So he was accused of being a spy, and some people believed it, and it actually hurt him financially because his audiences diminished quite greatly at this point. He himself was just deeply hurt by this distrust, didn't understand it, and he even left France for a while. Actually, because his income was less, he was really struggling financially. He wanted to keep his theater afloat. So where he went to the United States, and he toured there. He performed in New York, he performed in Philadelphia, he conducted, he definitely performed as a cellist, and people enjoyed him, and he was doing well. And then he went back to France when things calmed down a little bit. This tour was good. It definitely restored his reputation a lot, and it also helped the money issues that he had. He was very clever and witty on stage, but he was equally clever and witty off stage. He sometimes would sign off his letters with "Eau de Cologne" because he was from Cologne, thinking that was funny, and it is kind of funny. He was known for his joke, for his humor, for his wit, definitely in his music. His scores are full of these sudden tempo changes, like ta-da! They can have exaggerated rhythms trying to make this funny point. The melodies sometimes sound like a wink, right? So it sounds light and fluffy, but beneath this comedy, there's some serious craftsmanship going on. He definitely has a deep knowledge of orchestration and understands the music. He's incredibly productive, so he has this theater that he's running. He's always kind of touring, or at least performing as a cellist, more than a violinist, and composing. And he writes over 100 pieces, a lot of operettas, or opera buffets, so there's not necessarily a story, ballets. He writes quite a bit of pieces. In 1880, at the age of 61, he passes away in Paris. Complications of both heart issues and gout. He was in the middle of working on what would be his final piece, called The Tales of Hoffmann, and he wasn't able to finish it, but other musicians came and they helped finish it, and it was performed after his passing. So Offenbach definitely transformed our theater world as we know it. He invented operetta and showed that comedy could be sophisticated, musical, and biting, and proved that laughter, when you do it well, can be revolutionary. He was funny, but had such depth. So go and listen to something by Jacques Offenbach.